Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's episode of the League NBA podcast. My name is Robbie, here with my co-host,
Hi, I'm Carlos.
and today we are coming to you to talk about early season reactions. It's the NBA League has been going on for a couple weeks now, and we just had the lock-in tournament for the LCS League of Legends season. And we're just here to share our opinions, some of our thoughts about just what's been happening. So, before we start, how are you doing today, Carlos?
I'm doing great. It's we're on a holiday right now. Um, a good set of NBA games is happening today. Later on, I'm gonna play some Rocket League with my friends, and yeah, should be a good day.
Yeah, I know later today, me and Carlos are gonna be, and maybe our producer Eric will be watching the Lakers v Warriors game, and it will be my first time watching a full length NBA game. I've watched, highlight. I think the last time that I truly watched an NBA game was in 2012 when Jeremy Lin was popping off. I think that was probably the last time that I actually even remotely watched. Just because it was kind of an iconic moment, you know. I know there was like what was it, like put me in coach or something like that he used to say. Um,
Yeah,
I know he was,
Linsanity. Yeah.
yeah, it was good times. But enough about that. Glad you're doing well, Carlos. So yeah, so why don't you start us off? Let me know what you're thinking about early season reactions for the NBA.
All right. So NBA. Right now we're about 12 to 13 games into the season, so still kind of early to assess where teams are on whether or not they're going to make the playoffs. But here are some things that I'm going to talk about. So, one thing that has been a key pattern throughout the season is that there's been a lot of blowouts. A lot of teams, especially right now during COVID, they have a lot of their players missing because they
Stop
either
you real
got
quick. What's blowouts? Sorry for my lack.
blowouts. So like pretty much they're winning by like 40 or 30 points.
Okay, okay, okay,
It's like yeah,
okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, that's what
they're
I
not
thought too. I
even
just want to make sure. Okay,
They're
cool.
not,
Thanks.
they're not even close. Yeah, they're not even close games. So we have a lot of games that are lopsided and not even close, which kind of sucks because it kind of disinterests like the casual fan in in order to watch it. Um, so a lot of the games are blowouts because players are missing games due to COVID protocols. They're either tested positive or they were in close contact with someone who did test positive. So as a result of that, a lot of the players who are in the games are the bench players or players who are in the G League or rookies. So it's not really like the real teams playing right now. In addition, there's a lot of games being postponed and canceled. So sometimes like the really anticipated big matchup games that you look forward to end up getting postponed on that same day because of COVID protocols. In the NBA, you need around 7 active players in order to per team to play in a game, and some teams only have 5 healthy players available,
Hmm.
so they have
Hmm.
to postpone those games into the future, which sucks because you're excited and then just like all the momentum and yeah, we saw last year how the bubble ended up working for the NBA, how there was 0 positive tests and the league played nonstop, um, and and pretty much was the first sports league to have all its players survive the season without testing positive for COVID. But now, since we're not in a bubble anymore, we see a bunch of players, a bunch of teams have their play suspended as a result of that, which it goes to show that how each state regulates their COVID protocol. So here in California, it's really strict. We still can't go out and outdoor restaurants or indoor restaurants. So we see a lot of the California teams maintaining the protocols. The Lakers, the Warriors, the Clippers, and the Kings so far throughout the season have maintained healthy. They played all their games so far, and they've been staying healthy. While teams on the Eastern Coast, for example, like the Philadelphia 76ers, um, we've seen the Washington Wizards. You've seen those types of teams. They might have different types protocols per state. So you see a lot of their games getting postponed. So it's really disorganized and discombobulated right now
Mhm.
in terms of games being played and games getting postponed. And if they do play the games, they end up being a lot of blowouts, a lot of lopsided wins. So it's not a fun league to watch right now. I know I was hyping it during the preview show, but yeah, just COVID made everything so complicated. Um, so that's one thing to keep an eye on. My second thing that I am watching for now is the Brooklyn Nets. So in the preview show, I was talking about James Harden was going to be a key factor into the season on whether or not the Rockets would go far. But James Harden, James Harden again is he's the guy with the beard. The guy with the beard. He's kind of chubby now. So the reason that he got chubby because he hated being in Houston. He did not want to be in Houston anymore. So what he did was he would eat and get fat, and he would deliberately break COVID protocols and go to strip clubs. Again, he was in Houston, Texas. They have a lot of restaurants, a lot of bars, a lot of clubs open during this time right now. So he would go out, go party, and then he would get in trouble by the league because he wasn't wearing a mask when he would go party, and he would just like get in trouble, get fined, and get in trouble by his team. He was clearly unhappy to be in Houston. So what happened was the Rockets, that was James Harden's former team, last week they played the Lakers on back-to-back nights at Houston. The Lakers went into Houston and beat the Rockets by around 20 and 25 points on back-to-back occasions on the Rockets' home floor. And after that, James Harden, he was unhappy with the team. He was calling out his teammates that this is not a championship-winning team, that he needs to go to a different team and join a winning culture. Harden was with the Rockets since 2012. He was with that James Harden was with that team in 2013 with Dwight Howard, with Jeremy Lin, um, with Chandler Parsons. Back when the Rockets were fun to watch. And James Harden throughout the years, he's been getting a lot of teammates traded in and out of Houston. He's gotten Russell Westbrook traded in and out of Houston, Chris Paul, Dwight Howard, and all these players were before they got traded to Houston were seen as really top 10 players. And afterwards, when they were playing in Houston, their gameplay suffered. The Rockets were one game away from going to the finals in 2018, but they ended up missing 27 straight 3-point shots and lost to the Warriors in that Western Conference Finals. Ever since then, the James Harden Rockets have underperformed, losing to the Warriors in 2019 and losing to the Lakers last year in 2020. So Harden wanted to get out of Houston, and he finally got his wish made. He got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. Again, the Brooklyn Nets are one of those teams where they have a lot of drama already going on. They have Kevin Durant, coming back from an Achilles injury, and he's very kind of hostile to the media. He hates giving post game interviews. Then there's Kyrie Irving, another guy who hasn't shown up to a game in over 3 weeks. So he's the type of player where he just tells his coach, "I'm not playing today." He's not even injured or anything. He just tells the coach, "Yeah, I'm not playing. I'm not even gonna show up to the team playing or to the stadium. I'm just gonna stay home. I don't feel like playing." But because he's like a top like 15 player in the league, like you can't cut him. Like he's an all star type of talent. But the drama that he's giving the Nets is just so toxic right now. And people like Stephen A. Smith were calling out Kyrie. If you don't want to play, just retire already. You are bad for the league. You are very hostile to the media. You don't want to give out interviews. And the when this team is playing, he's out there doing other stuff. He's at birthday parties. Again, he's maskless as well. Again, Kyrie Irving is that same guy who believes in flat Earth type of things. So Kyrie Irving, again, he's a phenomenal player. He won a championship with LeBron in 2016. The Brooklyn Nets with Kyrie Irving and Durant were already contenders, but now they got James Harden, that same guy who was with the strip clubs, with getting fat, calling out his teammates. That same toxic guy from Houston now got traded to that Brooklyn Nets organization, who's already in turmoil, who's already underperforming this season. And seeing Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving, those three together, their potential, they could win this whole thing just on talent alone. But just knowing the drama and the situations behind all those players, I don't think they're going to win the championship at all. I believe that they will not succeed. And my prediction is the Philadelphia 76ers will go to the NBA Finals in the Eastern Conference. That Philadelphia was the other team that wanted to trade for James Harden, but ultimately did not pull the trigger. But that's a good thing. James Harden does not win in the playoffs. He is a person that you do not want in the locker room. And I think the 76ers with Ben Simmons, with Joel Embiid, who is playing at an MVP level right now, and with Dwight Howard and Danny Green, who were both Lakers last year, I think the 76ers will make their first appearance in the finals in over 20 years. As for the Lakers, right now, they're just sleepwalking through the season. Honestly, they're not going to try until the postseason. They're experimenting with lineups, experimenting with minutes and positions. So we might see them throw a couple games at home just because they don't take the other team seriously. But when the Lakers go on the road, they are undefeated. Because sometimes when they go on the road, there are some fans in the stands that gives them motivation. That reminds them, oh wow, there's some Laker Nation turned out here. So the Lakers are looking like contenders, and we'll see in the playoffs how they do. Other teams in the West that are doing well, the Clippers, which is the LA's other team, they're the second seed right now, and they're really doing well in the regular season. But again, we'll ask again in the postseason how they do. And the team that I said to watch out for in the season preview, the Phoenix Suns are contenders, folks. They are a top 4 seed currently, and they are so fun to watch. And we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Hopefully, by the time the playoffs roll around, the vaccine distribution in the United States will be a lot more efficient, a lot better. Players will have received it, but at the same time as the general public, so there won't be that much controversy in terms of them skipping the line. But right now, the league is showing some slowback because of these COVID postponements and these suspensions. So overall, things to watch out for in the NBA. COVID, number 1 is COVID. Number 2, James Harden drama. How does he acclimate in Brooklyn? And number 3, how do the Lakers treat the regular season? Do they take it seriously, or do they not care about it as much? And that's my thoughts on this first month of the NBA.
You know, what caught my ear there was that player that just straight up doesn't show up to the games. Like that's,
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. Like, it doesn't fit my. I don't know. That's
Like
crazy.
if it was a regular like employee, like you don't even give like your boss like a notice. You just don't show up. Like
But is he worth it? Like as a fan, I mean, you're probably not a fan of that team, but
Mhm.
if I was a fan of a team and we have a problem player, I would probably just be like, I'd rather have fucking 5 or 6 rando mid-tier players trying their hearts out than this fucking diva. Like I feel like unless you're LeBron, you don't get to pull. Even LeBron wouldn't pull that. I don't
Yeah,
like that guy. Like fuck that guy. What the heck?
yeah, and that's the whole drama behind that team because they have so much potential to win it all. They could easily win it all, but they're gonna have those back and forths, those players that player sitting out a lot, and yeah, it sucks just
I
just
think
seeing a talent like that.
I don't know if you went over this, but I also read this article about this player that went to a strip club or something like that.
Yeah, that was the guy with the beard.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
It wasn't the problematic player that you mentioned though.
no, yeah, but all those guys in that same team though, it's like usually they only have like one guy per team, but now the Brooklyn Nets have Harden and Kyrie. Two
Yeah.
of those guys are like the most controversial guys. Like, oh, they
Yeah.
just
I mean, I guess so. In previous teams, did he act like this, or is he acting like this for the first time?
so when he was with the Cavaliers with LeBron, he wasn't like this. They did win a championship, but he wanted to leave LeBron's team. He's like, I don't want to be LeBron's sidekick anymore. I want my own team, which is like, who does that? You're pretty much gonna be in the finals or win a championship if you stay on that team. So he
Yeah.
he left to a different team. He went to the Boston Celtics, and with that team too, he didn't show up. He was hated by the fans. He would never take. And again, it was just a toxicity in the locker room.
Hmm.
A lot of the media would call out, and that's where his animosity towards the media came from, just playing in Boston. So after leaving Boston, he's like, I'm gonna go my own team in Brooklyn. So he was a star in Brooklyn for 1 year, and then Durant joined this
Hmm.
year, coming off his injury, and then
Yeah.
now Harden is joining right now recently. So in this case, Kyrie went from the number one player in his team to like the number three player, arguably in his team. So it's gonna be the ego trip on that one.
One of these days, if you have like an hour to spare, I want to show you this documentary. They made a documentary for League called Breaking Point, revolving this player called Dardoch, who's kind of like the problem child of the league. I actually like him a lot. I think he's a really good player. He's really fun to watch. He's super talented, but he just seems to like have like that mentality of like my show, or nothing at all kind of thing. And he's been with almost I want to say half. At least he's been on like oh my god. He started with Team Liquid. Then he went to Immortals, CLG. I think he played for Optic. So that's 4 teams. I think I'm missing one. Let me think. Oh, TSM. That's 5 teams. He's been with at least half the league already. Like this guy's run, and now he's back. He's in Dignitas now. He's only 6th team out of the 10 teams in the league. So he's running out of chances. People say he's reformed, but not really. And it's like I just don't know what to make of this player. Like, he's been staying out of the limelight a bit. I don't know if that's because he wants to. I don't know what's going on. But anyways, in 2017, they made a documentary about how he kind of was like the center point around like the Team Liquid meltdown of back then, and it's a really good documentary. I would love to just be able to watch that with you one of these days. We can coordinate that later. It is kind of long. I think it's really well done. We'll talk about that later, but. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If I was a fan of that team, dude, I would say fuck that player. Just bench him
Yeah.
or kick him, sell him. I don't care, dude. I mean, I don't know how. I'm not an NBA fan, but I would hate to have a player that's just, you know, calling it in or just clock. Or how do you say it? Like just like cruising. That's really annoying to me. Um, but that sucks. Hopefully the league stabilizes. I know you mentioned they don't have the bubble anymore, so we'll see. I guess as time goes on. Um, from my side, I think so. We talked last episode about how you watched the lock-in tournament. And I watched. I watched I only watched it. I only watched live on Sunday. The rest of the other 2 days, I watched highlights because due to work and personal stuff. But I was able to pretty much watch every match, at least the highlights. I mean, it's only been one day, so every team has played, I think, between 3 to 4 games at this point. Um, and no, yeah, 3 to 4 games. They have one day left, I think, on Monday. No, sorry, Friday, and then on Saturday they go to the knockout stage. So right now, my understanding is COG's eliminated. COG cannot make it. I don't think they have any games left. Yeah, they don't have any games left. They can't make it. They're 1-3, and the one above them is Golden Guardians, who's 1-2. But even if Golden Guardians lose their next game, they have the tiebreaker against COG because they beat COG. So, I mean, we'll right now. I mean, things are kind of going as I've expected. On Group A, you have Team Liquid, 100 Thieves and TSM tied for first place with 2 wins and 1 loss. On fourth place, you have Golden Guardians at 1-2, and COG at 1-3 is in last place, eliminated. On Group B, you have Evil Geniuses, who Group B, by the way, is significantly weaker as a whole group. So, but Evil Geniuses is 3-0, only team that's undefeated left. They're kind of like surprising everyone. Cloud9 second place at 2-1. Perks debuted. Obviously, not a great showing from him this past weekend. Immortals is at 1-2. Dignitas is at 1-2. But Immortals is ahead of Dignitas because they beat Dignitas. And FlyQuest is at 0-2. I feel bad for FlyQuest because they don't have. I think they're missing a couple players for their starting roster. So it's been a slow start for them. And at least this trim doesn't matter. I think they have to win their next 2 games to be able to even stand a chance. But I think their next games. I think they're Evil Geniuses and Cloud9. Let me check real quick. So they're playing against Evil Geniuses and Immortals. So they can beat Immortals. If they beat Immortals and Immortals loses again, I think they can probably um how do I say this? Advance, I think. Yeah, they would advance. So um first impressions, I don't really have much. I mean the biggest surprise is Evil Geniuses coming out as strong as they are, but I mean it should be expected. Impact's a veteran who usually does really well in, for some reason, like tournaments. I think when he feels like there's like an end, like a short term goal, a, like like a finals. I don't know. He just turns it on. He's pretty good, but when it comes to like playing a regular season game, he always seems to just not be as good. So and then they have Svenskar and Jisuke, who are pretty solid players. And in the bot lane, they have Ignar and Deftly. Um, I was surprised because Deftly did pretty well, which I think he kind of makes sense in that roster because they have 2 crazy people in the jungle and mid lane, and then they have and the support role, and then you have Impact and Deftly, who are like super stable, just like more safe players. Obviously, I was surprised at how kind of weak Perks had a debut. I was also surprised at TSM not looking too good. I think they're looking a little. They've kind of flopped their way um, into this first place tie. Um, so far, I don't really care about these games because they're best of one. What I'm excited about is the knockout stage. That's gonna be interesting. That's when they start playing best of threes. I think best of fives maybe. Um,
Mhm.
Let me check real quick.
When is
Uh,
that?
that's gonna start Saturday. I think
Uh,
Saturday is gonna be the Saturday's gonna be the first set, best of threes, and Sunday they'll have another set of best of threes, and then the next weekend they'll have a best of fives, the 29th, 30th, and 31st. So I mean, as of right now, I don't know who I have my favorite to win. I think it's between I think it's gonna be between Liquid and 100 Thieves. I don't think Evil Geniuses looks that good. I may I'll eat my words, and I don't think Cloud9 looks that good. And I don't think TSM looks that good. So I think it's between Liquid and 100 Thieves, and I think Team Liquid was playing with a substitute jungler, so they're supposed to bring in Santorum, who was like the best jungler last season for North America. So once he starts, I think Team Liquid is only going to look stronger. I think Team Liquid is probably the most expensive roster out of every other team. So nothing besides winning is expected from them. Like if they don't win, like for them it's a flop. Like some of these teams, like Golden Guardians and Immortals and Dignitas, they kind of went the cheap route. They have a lot of budget players, so people understand that what this team's strategy is to kind of develop some of this talent. And if let's say they hit like someone that's like, oh wow, this player is actually really good, and we got him for really cheap, and we have him on contract for the next 2 to 3 years. Maybe next year we can invest in some more expensive pieces, you know. So that's the play for some of the teams. Um, but Team Liquid is paying to win. If they don't win, it's a failure. They're investing way too much money to lose, and I think they're a likable team, so I don't really mind them paying to win, especially if they can perform well internationally. Uh, right now, I kind of want to make a bet. Not really a bet, but I want to say whatever team wins the tournament, I'll probably buy a jersey off. Um, except I was trying to buy a Hundred Thieves jersey, but they do like the whole scarcity thing with it like limited drops, so I wasn't able to cop one. But Team Liquid has this really cool Miles Morales jersey that I kind of want to get, but that's pretty much it. I mean, Jizuke, the Millionaire for Evil Geniuses, looks pretty good. I was pretty surprised, and Perks looks bad. I mean, right now it's too soon to make any calls. The teams will get better as the tournament goes on, and I think a team that can turn it on is TSM, but I doubt it. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see
uh,
what happens.
what was that team that had like a full like the team full of like washed players? Was that
Oh
Golden Guardians?
no, that's COG.
Oh,
I feel so bad because all these players are so nice, dude. Like they're their jungler's like the nicest dude in the league. Their millionaire's one of the most charismatic dudes in the league too. Their bot lane's super nice. Like these guys are a bunch of nice dudes, and I feel bad because they they're like last place in their group. And to be fair, they're in the harder group, but they lost to Golden Guardians. Like COG is easily 2 to 3 times more expensive than Golden Guardians is,
mhm.
and Golden Guardians is a bunch of noobs. Like all these players like are like almost debuting. Like I think 4 out of the 5 players are debuting in the LCS for the first time. And to beat a team with a bunch of veteran uh championship holding players, like COG has players that have won championships. They have a player that was the world finals a couple years ago, or like 3 years ago at this point. There's no excuse for what I don't know what's going on with COG. At this point I have to chalk it up to incompetent management or incompetent coaching because these players are not this bad. They shouldn't look this bad. It makes no sense. Like it has to be management or coaching. And I feel bad, dude, because like I can see why they made the roster move they made. I think they could have gone like the cheap route, but I think they've lost so much lately that they're probably like, hey, let's just be a middle of the pack team and kind of like just hang on for now.
Mhm.
But they get less place again, and it's just like I just feel bad because they're one of the OG teams, dude. They're one of the OG teams, and that has just fallen so hard, dude. They haven't recovered since like 2016, 2015. It was like the pinnacle of no, actually no, 2016 spring was probably the pinnacle of them, and they went to finals of an international tournament, and they came back and they just fell off hard. I don't know what happened, dude. There has to be some behind the scenes stories. I'm excited more for except for like the knockout stage. Finally, get to see some best of three, some best of fives because some best of threes and best of fives, you get to see adaptations as the game goes on. Like you get to see bans come in. If someone had prepared like a cheese pick or like a kind of not maybe the best way to put it's like they prepare a specific pick and they play and they win. Next game you ban it and see how the team adapts. And I think that's when the game really gets to get fun and evolve, and you get to see players come under pressure. Um, Mistakes happen, and yeah, I mean, as of right now, things are kind of expected. Except it's pretty sad because FlyQuest, like I mentioned, is last place in Group B. But I don't know if you know this, but they got second place last year. So the way they choose these groups, because you know there's Group A and Group B, right?
Yes.
Do you understand how they made the groups?
What? I don't not
Okay,
know.
so uh they had TSM and FlyQuest, and TSM chose a team to put into FlyQuest group, and then FlyQuest chose a team to put in TSM's group, and so on. So they call it Nemesis draft, where you like choose what team to send to the other group. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
So imagine being like the leader of the group and then just being last. Like,
It's like being like picked last in dodgeball, but like opposite. Like
yeah.
because
So
they know you suck. Yeah.
I feel bad. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm sure they'll turn it around. Maybe not in this tournament. Maybe in the regular season. But that's pretty much my thoughts. I'm just yeah. I mean, I was really happy with the lock-in tournament. It's a good experience because I think it kind of jumpstarts the season in a really good way. You start getting to see the power levels of each team, and you also get to maybe see some of the teams that aren't doing too hot. So hopefully they can fix their mistakes before it's too late. The team that concerns me the most is CLG, dude. I just don't understand what's going on over there. Like, they look lost. Like, how can you? They're investing millions into their infrastructure, and to look that bad, it's like, it's just, it's depressing, honestly, at this point. Like, I don't even know what they're doing. I want them to do better, but I don't know. That's pretty much it. I don't know. Do you have any? I know you happened to watch the locking tournament, and we kind of talked about it last episode, but I don't
Hmm.
know if you have anything you want to add.
Not just the way. How is that knockout tournament going to be seeded? Just based on the records from the group, right?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
How are they going to be seeded in their groups? For the knockout tournament.
My understanding is that they'll probably get the first place, Group A to play against the fourth place of Group B. Uh, I might be wrong about that. I think first place might actually get a bye. I actually didn't look that far in. I'm sorry about that. Let me see.
And those are
It's okay.
best out of three, right?
Yeah, yeah. After the group stage, yeah, it's best out of three. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sure they probably. I think first place gets a bye, if I remember correctly. Sorry, this is a new format that they just started the season. I think first place gets a bye, and then they'll probably have second play against fourth. Wait, is that
Mhm.
right? No, no, no. They'll probably do. No, it doesn't work. It has to be first against fourth, and second against third. Yeah, that's what they're gonna do. That makes sense. Um, but if you have anything else to add, Carlos, we can wrap it up and get ready to watch the Lakers v Warrior game later today.
Mhm.
Next episode, we'll probably talk about my reactions to the game and what I thought of a full NBA broadcast experience.
Yeah. If you guys want to see what I thought about my first League of Legends game, guys can watch episode 4 here on
Hmm.
the channel.
That's a good one. Okay, well, if nothing else to add, I want to say thank you to our producer, Eric. Thank you, Carlos, for being you. And I hope everyone has a good week. And please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you.
Bye.